very well. Happy.
Have you slept?
I haven't actually. You know what? Sleeping has been eluding me. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I sleep about 2 to 3 hours a night, and I'm already jumping jack.
2 to 3 hours a night per night. And this beautiful? I've slept for 6 to 8 hours, and this is me.
And you are younger.
Oh, thank you very much. So, are we ready for the question and answer? How did you prepare for this press con? Because these people are so excited to talk to you actually and to meet you in person. What were your preparations going here? Can you please share it to us?
Well, first of all, I want to say maraming salamat everyone for being here with us. It means a lot, really a lot to me to be here with all of you. Because, as you know, Maraming Salamat, as in the song, is my first song here in the Philippines to be released here, and your country has always been a very, very special country in my heart, and I always feel that even though I'm Chinese, from Hong Kong, I have a Filipino heart. So it's like coming home.
Yes, actually, and we love having you here. Okay, before we start off with the question and answer, can we just hear a bit of the song? All the names that can be, presented to you or you may use. Why Qymira?
Okay, I love fantasy. I love fantasy world. And Qymira actually came from the Greek legend, the Chimera. So it's actually a beast in ancient Greece.
A beast?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, well, you know what? I don't look at it like a beast. I actually look at it like a very interesting animal of 3 animals in one. It's a lion, a snake, and a goat. And I thought that as a person, actually, forget about being an artist, but as a person, we are all chimeras, because at any given time we have a private face, a public face. Sometimes we are a friend, a girlfriend, a mother, a professional, a brother, a husband, so that's the reason why chimera, because I feel that all of us have very different roles in life. We wear many different hats, but instead of using the phrase wearing many different hats, it's basically embodying many different animals in ourselves to just be free. Sometimes you're a lion, you want to roar. Sometimes you're a snake when you feel in a good way. When I sing, for example, sometimes you feel sultry, a bit more sensual. And sometimes you feel like a goat, more vulnerable and fragile moments. You let your heart be on the table and just say, you know what, I'm just here. And I'm just bearing my soul to you. And that's the reason why Qymira, in many different guises, will encapsulate what I do. Sometimes with the orchestra, I roar. With the singing, I, like a snake. And then with the goat is when I write, poetry and all that. And because I also have, from the music to the fashion to the film works that I do, it's also very different characters I play.
It's like having different personalities portraying different roles in life. That's true, no? When you're facing a friend, you have a different personality. You may be a very soft-spoken person when dealing with your family, and you may be, as tough as a tiger or a lion when you're dealing with your siblings like that, because you have to be tough. But you have to show a different face. So that is why you chosen Qymira as a name. And that, yes, would you like to add to that?
No, you know what, Lindsay, a lot of people ask me why do you spell the word Qymira?
Yes, interesting.
Because, the original animal name is Chimera. And I thought that, that's an animal. That's the animal that everybody knows as Chymera. But I wanted to put the artistic touch to it. And when you put the letter Q to the name, and then Y, you almost feel like you are reading the word pyramid, like ancient Egypt. So it's got this fantasy, almost like it invites imagination to the person that's seeing the word and watching the works that Qymira does.
It's like you really thought of this, before coming out and having the Qymira name. It's like you how do you call that? It's like you brainstormed a lot with the name. And that must be the reason why you've been number one in so many things. Like when you sing, you have this song that hit number one in the UK, and 3 other songs that hit number one in Brazil. Oh my gosh! Can you please tell us more about this? Because I found out a while ago while I was, running down your records. Number one is "Give It to Me" in UK. And not a lot of people can do that. Not a lot of artists can do that. Getting number one in UK is such a, something that is huge for some artists. Now, but how did you feel having "Give It to Me" hit number one in the UK?
Actually, it was the song "Satisfied" that reached number one in the UK, and then we followed up with "Give It to Me." It went to top 5 as well in the UK, and I was very, very grateful because, yes, indeed, it's not easy in the UK to reach that, so I'm very grateful. And then subsequently, we came out with 3 singles in Brazil. And for some reason, all of them went to number 1.
Oh.
And it was in the Bahia radio, so the state of Bahia, then on the radio stations over there. And it was ahead of a lot of the American and British artists, like, for example, Beyonce, Lady Gaga, Coldplay, So for me, I was very speechless. And I was asking them, how come, it's a foreigner, and I don't speak really Portuguese, how come, I was able to go to
the charts,
top the charts? And they said, because you sang your song half in Portuguese, you embraced their culture, whereas the American artists, all their songs were in English. And in Brazil, actually, they don't really speak English. Some of them speak English, but most of them speak Portuguese. And I think for me, I never really learned Portuguese, but I've really been very fortunate to meet friends, and colleagues in Brazil, for example. And they're a very good group of people, very talented people. And just like here in the Philippines, it makes you want to learn their language, to understand their culture, to work with them. And I can carry on because, for example, apart from Chris Lawrence, and of course Renee Saturno from your country.
Of course.
Yes, right. And I was very blessed to work with them, and also, I was performing with Billy Crawford as well before. Actually, we went back a long time ago. In the UK, we were touring together. And then in Brazil, I've had the fortune and privilege to work with different artists, to collaborate with them. From, for example, rapper singer Duenji Primero, rapper Chaos, producer Peter Dobby Bilik, and Edu Casanova, whom I was doing the carnival with in Salvador. And many other artists, Furia, Consciente, and just they're so talented. And so when I'm interacting with them, I'm able to learn their culture. And when I collaborate with them, I become part of their world. And so it became very authentic, I suppose, and people like it.
Yes, and you've mentioned a lot of names, a lot of big names actually. But were there any struggles working with them? Because these people, I think they know each other, Beyonce and the rest of the names that you just mentioned. And Qymira is here, he hit number 1. What was the problem, do you think, that you had to surpass doing, collaborations with these people and actually, entering the world or entering Brazil? What did you have to,
Do you know, I never ever thought that in my wildest dreams that I would ever be in Brazil, because I'm Asian from Hong Kong. I've been a lot in the Philippines, but Brazil, it wouldn't even enter my mind.
Yes.
And in the UK, okay, sure, in the US, okay. But because of my foundation, One Guy Room, which I will speak, about it later on, I was invited to work in Brazil to help the children in need over there. And from there on, the producers, Don B, we've actually been working for a very long time. So they were actually saying, why don't you collaborate with our artists over here as well? Oh. Now, the thing is, the problem you asked me, it's not really a problem, but I would say the challenge The challenge is in that they don't speak English at all, the Brazilian artists.
That must be tough.
Yes, so in order to communicate with them, it's either I try to speak in Portuguese, and basically completely immerse myself in their culture,
Which is tough.
Which is tough because, of course, I have no basis to start with.
Yes.
But it became very easy when you just let yourself be free and just go with the flow. And now they have become very good friends, even though we actually communicate in my half Portuguese, and it's very fun process. Yes, just like my Tagalog, All I need to say is "Gutom ako, mahal kita," and then I will never go hungry,
Yeah, that must be the reason why she's very successful in a lot of ways, because she tries and she really does immerse herself in so many cultures, and wherever she goes, I would like to learn Portuguese. I would like to learn the things in the US, because apart from singing, she also does a lot. Like she does arts and filming, and she's always on the top. And with that, I salute you with that. You always sing in you have different variations when it comes to singing. You're good at orchestra, you're good at rock, and you're good with almost everything. But
That's too kind.
I'm just saying it's real. But what is the Qymira signature? It's like when you hear the song, this is a song by Qymira. This is a Qymira album. It's coming from this album. It's Qymira. So what's the signature?
Actually, the Qymira signature is there is no signature in a way. Because I feel that when you put a signature on something, you're pigeonholing yourself. You're putting yourself in a box. But
Good point.
in a way, for me, because I try my best to work with different culture, so the signature becomes an eclectic mix of music, different music style. And because I picked up violin and piano when I was 3 years old, my mom was a music teacher. So as a result, I was classically trained. And so I never forgot my roots in violin, piano. But then later on, I had the pleasure to meet a very special gentleman. He's actually here, Ferdy Morris, over here. When I was in my university days, that's how we met, actually, through a good friend of ours in Hong Kong, who saw me perform the violin in the Colosseum. I was standing in for a violinist for a pop artist in Hong Kong. Like last minute, my friend said, who's the director of the show, said, "Hey, you know what? Our soloist got sick. Can you stand in for her and play your violin?" And I had never, at that age, I think I was 17, I had never performed in a Colosseum.
Yes.
So I thought, you know what? I'm up for a challenge.
I'm gonna do this.
I will do it. And then our common friend, saw that. And then, we started my journey in R&B. That's why I mentioned it. It's then from classical, transitioning to R&B and urban music, all the way to now, it's many different forms. In the US, I did rock. I had a rock album. And then now it's basically everything together. I had the pleasure to work with the members of the Philippine Philharmonic and the Philharmonic in December. More works with them will come up.
Yeah, I've heard.
Yes, yeah.
So many plans lined up for you. And just so everyone knows, Qymira is also #1. You won a spot in the violin, what do you call it?
I was the first violinist in the National String Academy in the UK.
You see what I'm talking about? This woman is everything. You're always #1.
I'm just restless. I'm just trying.
Because she's so fluid, she can actually work with a lot of things.
I've been very fortunate to have the opportunities in different fields, be it violin or piano, and I just thought, you only live once, why not? Just try your best and see where it goes.
Do you think this is the reason why you are different or apart from any other artists? Being fluid and able to do whatever you like to do. Is this?
I think I put it down to two things. First of all, I think every artist is unique.
Yes,
every
definitely.
artist, because if you're actually fortunate enough to be already a professional artist, then of course you will be gifted, talented in either singing or be a musician or something. And no two artists are the same because no two people have the same voice.
Yes.
So I would say, in a way, if you put the question as what sets me apart from other artists, I would say that because of my very fortunate opportunities that I've been getting from different worlds. So be it in England, I was born in Hong Kong, raised in the US and UK, and then had my exchange in, for example, Brazil and Philippines. It makes my music style very different. And so between the different music style and different culture, that's what makes a Qymira album different. So you may hear, for example, Latin drums, Latin influence in a song, but you may hear a whole orchestra from the Philippines playing on it.
Yes, something different.
Qymira signature. And so when I sing, you won't actually, in a way, fit a not so R&B voice, because I was a soprano before.
And you're a soprano. What else can you not do? Okay, sorry to interrupt.
No. So as I say, I was very restless. I'm still very restless. But I thought, so when people hear me sing, it's a bit like, oh, that's not an R&B voice, but it goes with an R&B track or a Latin track. But then it's played by the members of either the Philippines Philharmonic or Hong Kong Philharmonic, and then with all these different influences. So for me, this is our world. We should actually mix cultures to make it more interesting.
Yeah, and it's like, we have this thing, if you're going to compare it to food, it's like, I don't know, people, if you've actually tasted caldereta, adobo. It's like mixing two dishes at the same time, and it makes it even more delicious.
Yeah.
So that is the Qymira signature. You go out of the box. You're not limited to only one genre, because you can do, actually everyone can do a lot of genres all in one song.
Yes, I think, it's all about exploring and just being free, because when you tell yourself, no, I must do an R&B track, then you limit yourself to the creative process, because you're telling yourself, well, R&B track needs to be this kind of beats with this kind of instrumentation. Whereas I'm kind of thinking, well, my influence came from, classical or, and so I put it in, and then it depends on my heart at the time, whether it's broken or not.
That's whether it's broken or not, we'll jump into that in a bit.
That's when I write different things.
So that's your style.
Yeah.
That helps you when you're emotional, you write.
I write my own experiences. I don't shy away from it.
Well, since the beginning of your journey being a singer, so you also write songs and you compose.
Yes.
So
I write practically all my own songs, especially if it's the solo album. If it's collaborated, like for example with the Brazilian artists that I've been very fortunate to work with, we work together and we write together.
Yes, because you have to come up with something that will be more appealing to the market, right?
Especially when it's Portuguese.
Yes, but do you cater to that? Like, I have to write this kind of song because people will buy into the song. People will love this.
I think the secret is, first of all, you don't tell yourself what will sell. You don't ask yourself what will make money, what will sell. I think first it must come from the heart.
From the heart.
Yes. If the music speaks to you, it inspires you, and I have this melody, put it down. And then you can then maybe change it, morph it into something that will be commercial or not. Sometimes it's just a track for a film, which I have done as well. And I know that, I wrote a song called Mark of Honor for the movie that I was in called Black Salt in LA before. And I knew that it wouldn't be a commercial song, but I was playing violin in it. And when I wrote it, they specifically asked for, can you please stir the emotions of, it's an action movie. So, can you just stir the emotion, make people cry in this particular song, Mark of Honor. It's about someone dying in the movie. And I thought, okay, well, I don't need to think about making someone cry, just write from the heart. And that particular song, even though it's not commercial, it went on to do very well because of, what it was able to get to people's heart.
Okay, so I think being brave and courageous would actually be the best words to describe your style. You have to be brave enough to, conquer whatever genre. You're not limited to anything. I would like to do this because I feel like doing it.
I liken it to, we have so many constraints and boundaries in life.
Yes.
We are all chained up because we're not free. Because we all feel like we have to be somebody, we have to dress a certain way, sit a certain way,
yes.
And we're not free. In the creative process, you cannot be like that. You have to be free. So I was just thinking, let your hair down. Doesn't matter if you look ugly. Just do it.
Just do it. Okay, on that note, I would like to now.
I don't know, this is your first time here in the Philippines, or have you been here before?
I've been here in your country, in your beautiful country, many times. But my first time to actually release a single here.
Talaga? That's nice to hear. So, why do you want to have it, have it released in the Philippines, your song or your album?
Because this song called Maraming Salamat was inspired by the children in need in the Philippines that my foundation called One Gaia has been working with for the past couple of years. And because for One Gaia, we've gone to many different provinces, also in Manila, to work with different children in need. From, for example, the schools in Bohol battered by Typhoon Odette, to the Everlasting Hope Center for Cancer, and also the street children in Binondo. Recently, we were in Pampanga working with ISIS community, also Bataan, Isabela. We came back from Baguio just a few days ago. So through all of these One Gaia journeys, I would say, in the different communities, we have seen so much, and have seen many children in need that touched my heart. And when I think about them from the PWDs and because children in need come in many different forms, whether they are in poverty or whether they are experiencing terminal illness or conditions that because they were born into it and they have nothing. So a lot of people say, but Qymira, you're helping these children a lot, and thank you so much. My answer is always no, Paul. It's me who would like to say thank you, because the majority of our world needs help much more than those who don't need help. And therefore, for us, it's just a little bit of sharing the opportunities with them. I see them going around the basketball court with no shoes. With their ankles could just trip and hurt themselves. And they are still smiling. And they're just, it's the spirit of the Philippines that touched me very, very much. And that's why I chose to write the song called Maraming Salamat, actually devoted and dedicated to the children in need over here. So that's why we thought, why not release it here?
I'm just curious, do you have Filipino blood?
No, I wish I do, because, I feel like I have a Filipino heart. I would love to be a part of your culture, but I'm full Chinese from Hong Kong.
Oh, wow, how lucky we are to have you. And of course, love our country, love our people. So this is more like an advocacy, a song or a single or album?
Yes, it's Maraming Salamat. It's actually probably one of many that will come. The chorus I've actually written in Tagalog, so that it's obviously for the children in need over here. I also have another song called One Gaia, Isang Mundo, that's also, half in Tagalog. So I have basically many songs that, because I'm not from here, so I have the English verses, but the message in the choruses are all in Tagalog. So hopefully this will be one of many that we'll be able to release here.
Wow, good luck, and of course, would like to have you more in Manila, in the Philippines, and like I said earlier, I think it's an honor for us, the Filipinos, to have you here.
Thank you so much. That's very kind for you to say that. It's my honor to be here. Thank you.
There you go. And another question right here.
Hi, Qymira.
Hello.
Mabuhay.
Mabuhay.
Welcome to the Philippines.
Maraming salamat for having me here.
Qymira, aside from singing, do you play instruments? What instruments?
Yes, I play the piano and the violin.
Okay.
Yes.
Who influenced you in singing?
Sorry, Bob.
Who influenced you?
In singing.
Okay. I've always enjoyed singing. My mom was the conductor of a four-part choir. And so she was a music teacher. So in our family, it's always been, in a way, a musical place. I am part of five. I'm youngest of five children. And so I've always enjoyed the musical environment at home. When it comes to singing properly, when I was in England in a boarding school, it was my teacher who actually showed me solo singing and the art of solo singing. That's why the solo singing part actually came from England. And then I was trained as a soprano and, in England and performing around London as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Oh, and when it comes to singing in an R&B style, it was actually the gentleman I met in England, Ferdy Morris, who is also here. It's actually Ferdy and Ferdy's brother T, who inspired me to sing in an R&B way. And from then on, it's developed in a very different style. But I thank everybody who has, definitely influenced and inspired me along the way.
There you go. Any more questions? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, who wants to go first?
You first.
Yes.
Hi, Qymira.
Oh, sorry, Paul.
Yes, you have a very beautiful name.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yes, and we are so glad that you're Chinese, but you love the Philippines. And we're so glad that you remember a lot of things.
Okay.
Okay. We heard your name from Chris Lawrence already when he guested in our show. So you had the chance to work with him?
Yes. Very fortunate again because it was, I think, 2 years ago. Chris Lawrence was the first person, apart from Sylvanus Eternal, he introduced us to Chris, and we were working on the One Gaia projects because Chris also believed in One Gaia, one word. One Gaia simply means one word. So we were able to actually share a lot in common, and also then worked on a song called 1, 2, 3. And it's about inspiring people to just get up and go, get up and do things. And I did a concert, the One Gaia concert for the children in need in Manila in the Music Museum. And this was in 2022 in December. And we invited Chris Lawrence and Billy Crawford. They are like brothers. And why Billy is because when a while back, Billy and myself actually toured in the same tour in the UK. So it's like a reunion in a way. And it's really fun to work with these guys, especially Chris, because then we went on to work on Give It To Me together, and another song called Labyrinth of Life. So many things, we've collaborated on, and we're going to collaborate on even more things later. Yeah.
Yes, aside from Chris and Billy, you know that we have a bunch of talented artists here in the Philippines. So in the future, would you like to collaborate with any artist here?
Oh yes, there are many, really too many to count. Because I always say that the Philippines has really got the most talent, especially when it comes to singing. Because, through the One Gaia Foundation, where we go into different provinces to work with children who are so talented in many things, but especially singing and dancing and sports. Wow, the talent that we have witnessed, even in season 1 last year, I was looking at these 4 years old, 5 years old. They have a voice that in other countries they wouldn't even dream of having. So, for me, they are, well, obviously they're children of the future. But now, let alone the professionals in your country, So you have many different styles also from your country. We saw Darren D10 concert a few days ago.
You were there also.
Yes. He's a talent, of course. And I would love to work with, for example, Bamboo from your country as well. Yeah.
Yes.
Rock, yes, rock. Lea Salonga is, obviously
It's
someone
like
that
yeah.
everyone,
Would
more
want to
than
work with.
respect, hats off to her.
Mhm.
So many Filipino talents, Filipino singers I would love to work with. Bruno Mars is another one.
we also love Bruno.
Yes, so just many from different styles. I'm open.
Thank you, Qymira.
Thank you so much
So
for.
after this question, we are going to be touching One Gaia Foundation.
Yes.
After this question by the gentleman right there.
Hi, Qymira.
Hello.
How did you find out about the Filipino children in need, for which your song is an advocate of? How were they brought to your attention?
So, I was born in Hong Kong, and being in Hong Kong and also being raised in London or England and the US, most of my friends are Filipino friends. And through them, I was able to learn about their families, and a lot of them come from the provinces and then now moved to either the US or Hong Kong. But mainly in Hong Kong, I've met so many Filipinos who share with me their stories in the Philippines. So they will literally tell me, oh, my real name is Leslie. I just use, the name Qymira for work. So they will say, Leslie, my mom is in Bohol. And, now she's going through this and, all the plights, all of, the things that they're going through. The schools at the bottom of the mountain is completely flooded because of Typhoon Odette. And the children, 3,000 of them are not able to go back to school because of this. So, I don't know what to do because my sister is in this school, my other cousins are also in the other school. So, we don't know because the children has been off school for many, actually months. And then they tell me how they go to school. They have no shoes. So they walk the mountain road. Some of them walk for 3 days. So when you hear these stories, it's hard not to be moved. So when I heard that, I thought, being from Hong Kong, being very fortunate to be brought up in the US and the UK, I'm kind of thinking, our standard of living over there, when it comes to food, because it's expensive, we pay for a meal that is enough to get school supplies for the entire school. So why not more people are helping? So I just thought, charity starts from home. It doesn't start from an organization somewhere. So I thought, if I can help just a little bit at a time, let's see what we can do.
Second to last question. Let's go a bit technical. How would you describe the arrangement of your song? The Maraming Salamat.
How would you describe
The musical arrangement of the
okay.
song. Knowing that you come from a classical background, but you can sing R&B, all these influences, how do they come together in the song?
Okay, so it first started from a piano melody. Piano one day, inspiration came. Actually, the inspiration came from me taking a hike in the mountains of Hong Kong. And as I was just spending some me time, just walking on this hike, I was having this melody in my head. And I thought, okay, let me just put it down. I'm just going to put the piano bits down. But the thing is, when you see a mountain, when you see nature, nature is the same everywhere, in a way. It reminded me of the nature of the Philippines and also some of the children that we had met and experienced with, in the Philippines. So I thought, I'm grateful. I'm very grateful to have this. I'm grateful to be in this nature. I'm grateful for today. So let's write something about that. So I started writing the English lyrics. And the English lyrics, I thought, I'd like to still devote this to the children in need in the Philippines, so it needs to be in Tagalog. So what do? So I asked my 2 Filipino friends, Rebecca and Leslie, actually same name as me, yes. And I said, can you please help me? I've done this in Tagalog, but I don't speak in Tagalog. Can you help me to make it more colloquial, to make it more understandable? So the 2 of them helped me to put the chorus in Tagalog. And then, you know, it took shape. I checked on the internet, you know, that it really spoke. It's really, you know, how I would love to. But at the end of the day, it's about love. It's about being there for people. So it came to shape very, very quickly. And then the R&B influence is only because I'm already in that world. So the arrangement and everything, you know, came naturally. And then it was produced by Peter Dombey Billig in Brazil, because we were working on other things. So he did a remix and also another version with the rapper in Brazil, rapper-singer Duende Primero. And we also did an English version, but right now we're focusing on Maraming Salamat.
Maraming salamat.
Yes.
My last question,
Yes, please.
how do you feel that, aside from the Koreans, some artists of our ethnicity, Asians, are limited when they are released abroad simply because they are classified as world music artists?
So, well, you mean like how do I? Can you please repeat the question?
How do you feel that, aside from the Koreans, artists of our ethnicity, Asians,
Yes.
are limited in terms of audience exposure simply because they are classified under the world-class music genre abroad?
Ah, okay. I would say it's not fair.
Right.
Because music is music. You know, it doesn't matter where it's from. The person that's singing it can be Korean, can be Filipino, can be Chinese. I personally, being Chinese, has actually experienced a lot of racism in the UK, in the music world. Literally, they would listen to the music, love the music, and then they see the picture.
Right.
And then they will
Right.
say, oh, but she's Chinese.
Right.
And
Asian.
then- yes.
That's what happens.
Yes. So it's very unfair. And I was obviously very upset, you know, to face rejection, not because of the quality of the music, but because of, you know, just my face. So I decided that you have nothing to do apart from pushing through. You have to just keep going. So I thought, okay, because also I used my real name before. My real
Leslie.
name, Leslie Lowe. A lot of people thought that it was spelled Lowe. In English, it's a Western name.
Right.
So nobody thought that it was spelled Lah. So I was able to, when the song came to number one in the UK, they still thought it was Leslie Lowe, Lowe. But when I was joining the tour in the UK in theatres and arenas, they saw me coming out. That's where the problem started, because they now saw my face. We were doing 5 shows a day for many months on tour all the way, I don't know, England, Ireland, Scotland, you know, all the way, Ibiza, you know. When I came out, I remember there were 2 dancers coming out at first, and they were fine, because of course, you know, they're English. When I came out and I showed my face, that's when you could hear a pin drop.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, oh, what are we looking at? And automatically there is a discount that people already put on your face because you're Asian. So I came up with a way, which is, okay, you know what? We have to have ways to battle this in a way. So what I did was, I ended up coming out backwards. So I came out literally like this.
How interesting.
Because I had to sing and dance at the same time. And I had long black hair down to my waist. So the dancers were here and they were dancing. Instead of coming out, you know, like this, facing the audience, I had to come out this way and basically dance out backwards. And then so they only saw, you know, my hair. And then dance and sing facing that way until they now have seen this character, you know, who has black hair, they don't know, and then I turn around. And then, by that time,
They don't
you
care.
already get them going. And then they would be like,